Well, hello there, and welcome to the Witcher Math channel on YouTube. Today, I'm just making this little short video for my class. We're working on making ukuleles, and to make an ukulele, we need to correctly place the bridge on the body to start with. And we've been working off of this horrible template I created, which I apologize for right now publicly. Since the template is off center, it's hard to measure and make accurate measurements and straight lines and whatnot. So away it goes, because our goal is to actually put the real bridge on here and glue it in place, kind of like this, which will be a second video showing you how to glue it and wrap that rubber band the right way. But anyway, we want this bridge to go in a specific location, which, based on our directions, it's kind of hard to read. Let me try zooming here. See, it says 3.14 inches. We went through this whole thing in class, converting from metric to English, I guess, standard, whatever you want to call it. And turns out that what that really means is we want 8 centimeters to go from the sound hole to the bottom, what we'll call the bottom of the bridge. And then once we have that, we want it to be centered correctly so it lines up with the center of the sound hole. I think it's important to draw that out first, so when we commit to gluing it, we know it's going to go in the right place. And to do that, I've kind of done this ahead of time to prep for the video, but I think it's better to have a piece of graph paper so it already has straight lines on it. All I did here was find the center line of the graph paper, which we know the paper is 8.5 inches wide. And so I drew a center line at 4 1/4. First I put a dot at 4 1/4 at one end, and then I put a dot up here at 4 1/4, and then connected the dots carefully. If you have one of these bendy rulers, you got to be careful not to push on the ruler too much when you're drawing your line. Keep pressure down on the paper. But anyway, I have a center line for the paper now. And if I could just find the center point of the ukulele, then I can make an outline here. And what I noticed when I flipped it up, see, here's the body. And when I flip it up, I see a center line on the body, both at the bottom and the top. So what I did, and I think you should do this too if you've been having any trouble, is you line up the center line of the ukulele with the center line on the paper, both at the top and the bottom. Okay, do that. Stop the video if you need to. And then I traced around the body of the uk, and now I have a nice centered drawing on the paper, which is the best place to start. Okay, so now I need to get the sound hole drawn accurately onto here. The way I'm going to start that is I'm just going to measure. Once again, I'm starting at that center to center on the body. So I know I'm going right down the middle. Check this out. A couple of things to notice. Right here, it's 6 centimeters to the top of the sound hole. It's 11 to the bottom of the sound hole, which means it's a 5 centimeter diameter. So let's go ahead and make some marks on the center line there. Remember, the inside of the Sharpie line is actually where the body is. So keep that in mind because the Sharpie's on the outside. So there's my 6. There's my 11. Okay. And if I go halfway from 6 to 11, because that's 5 centimeters, right? There's a bell. Don't worry. Don't worry, nobody's watching. If I go 2.5, that's the center point. Okay, so if I go on that center point, which was 8.5, and I line up the ruler with the graph paper, I should go at 6 and 11 once again. Does it matter if I draw in the circle? No, not really, because all I need is this right here to pull from, and as we learned in class, the 3.14 inches on the directions is the same as 8 centimeters, which you can tell this is the third take of the video because I already have that marked. So 8 centimeters is where, some debris on the paper here, is where that's going to go. See that? It's going to line up right there. But we need to make sure the bridge is centered also. So I'm going to take this, 8 centimeters, make another one over here, and another one over here. I think it's important for precision to have 3 points to pull a line through, so I can keep pressure on the ruler and make a nice grid there. And since this is 8 centimeters, what's half of 8? 4! Correct! So I want to make sure this is 4 on each side of this line. There we go. And let's do that one more time just to make sure. 4. Good. So now I'm going to trace right around the actual bridge. There we go. Okay. So I've got a bridge drawn on paper with some precision such that when I go to glue the actual one on to the actual ukulele, it'll be in the right place. Okay, let's keep track of some measurements here. From here to here was 8 centimeters. Does it matter if I get the hole exactly correct? No, not really. What matters are that I have the edges of the hole correct because I'm measuring off of those. Okay. And what matters is that this is 8 centimeters and that this is about 2.5 centimeters, so I know right where the bridge is going. And I could also check it by going from the corner to the body here. I want to check it in as many places as I can to make sure it's all even everywhere. That's 4 also. when they're even, it tells you that everything's squared up and pretty darn precise and accurate. There we go. So I've got bridge placement based on a center line, and that is it. We did it in 10 minutes, and we're all ready to go now for video number 2. Goodbye. Thanks for watching. See you later.